So
How we doing?
We're here in the spring. Shot callers, havoc makers.
Yes.
Thoughts on who those guys are after Saturday?
You know, it's a revolving door, man. It's a competition every single day. So we do a lot of charting of causing havoc, having plays that disrupt the offense, sacks, TFLs, interceptions, PBUs, batted balls, and it's a constant competition that the guys have done a really good job embracing. So it's always changing, and it's really cool to see these guys compete to get after the ball.
DJ has a huge day on Saturday. What had he shown you in the prior 13 practice? Was that actually indicative of what he's shown the last month, or was that just the biggest day after building up to that point?
Yeah, it really. I think he's a special individual because he's his own hardest critic. So he's constantly trying to find ways, study the game. He's a guy that's really active, hitting me up, and putting in the extra work of what it takes, to try to catch the edge. And so, obviously him playing a lot more offense and tight end, I think he felt a little behind, in the beginning. So he's done a nice job progressing, and like you saw, there's flashes of greatness there. So he knows he still has some things to go get better at, and he will. And we're going to attack that together. But I'm really excited about the future with him.
Who was the top guy on that list?
What's that?
Who was the top guy on the list for spring?
The top guy?
For creating the havoc and all those categories.
It's a good question. We'd have to do an accumulative, ending of spring, and then maybe within the NCAA rules, of course, there could be a prize. So I'm not sure. We really, day by day, we chart it, and it's kind of a daily competition. So I'm not sure as far as the cumulative winner, but we should probably go look at that. And I'll get back to you.
Gotcha. Braden Switson had a big day the other day. He had 2 or 3 would-be sacks. Can you speak to his growth and what you expect to see from him this season?
Yeah, I think he's another guy that's attacked the process the right way. He's hungry to improve. He knows that there's plenty of room for improvement. I think one challenge to him is, at one point he was, I think he was 280 pounds at one point in his career here, and then he dropped way down, and he's progressing the right way. So I think as he packs on some good muscle weight and adapts to that weight, he's going to get more and more comfortable of setting the edge and causing some havoc for us.
Where does he fit positionally? Is he outside linebacker, defensive end, hybrid, both?
Yeah, well, we run a really versatile system. So, a lot of times he's gonna play what looks like a defensive end, and he's also going to be an outside backer for us, depending on what package we're in. So, I think he's embraced that. He's done a real nice job mentally as well, as we tax him, with some of the volume of our defense.
Can you speak to just the development of the defensive line? You had some guys who had a lot of starts in their careers here, not take part much in spring ball, and just how far along has this group come without them, and just what will it be like getting them back in the fall?
Yeah, I think it was a great opportunity for guys, with Keon being out, and Popo and Brandon, a couple others. So some guys got some really cool opportunities to attempt to master their craft that they might have not gotten as many opportunities in the past. So I think Coach Tuioti has done a kick-ass job of really developing that group. A guy like Trevin, really stood out where the beginning of spring. You compare that to even the scrimmage and just our last week. I think he's really progressed. He's a guy that we want to count on. And that's amongst some other guys, a guy like a newcomer, Taki, that's made an impact inside. I think these guys know we're certainly not where we want to be, but we're definitely headed in the right direction.
When Jarek Greenfield rejoins the program and then is obviously earning his way back in a way, but has the kind of spring game that he does, was that indicative of like the message he's trying to send and trying to rejoin you guys and put himself in the best position to play for you, be a contributor, get back in good graces?
Yeah, we're pumped to have him, and demand a lot out of him, and he's really responded the right way. I don't really know all the details of what occurred in the past, and as long as they're not representing our program the wrong way, that has nothing to do with us. So he's had a clean start, and he's embraced that, and he's responded to the challenge well, and he knows We're going to coach him hard, and we kind of tested him a little early on to see how he responds. He's done a nice job doing that, so I'd love to see him, be in the position to compete and contribute for us.
How much more install is there to go through throughout the summer months?
We really we try to cycle through the majority of our install. We like to give it to them. You got a limited time with them before we get started, and it's really a focus of implementing the culture and focusing on the strength and conditioning. But now we are allowed to do a little football before spring ball. What we try to do is cycle through, so a little bit of starting over in spring ball and progressing to the end again, and then we'll continue that process. So with goals of guys making an immediate impact early in their career, that's been a really cool recipe for us to do it that way. And then veterans that go through maybe a day one call again, we're not going to coach them the same, but we might focus on the same call, for example, and give the veterans variables within the formations and kind of more day one stuff as other newcomers come along, like the kids that will be joining us around June 18th.
Coach Lanning said he hasn't seen another defensive coach put such an emphasis on turnovers and interceptions, things like that. And I know there was 3 interceptions on Saturday. What was your view from the sideline from that? How did you see your players perform?
I mean, that's the expectation. It's no secret. If we can get the ball back for the offense, it's going to increase our chances to win. So I don't know why we wouldn't put a huge premium on that. So there's a 30-year NFL study that really personifies that. So if I knew we were going to call a specific call, and I could call that 40 times, and that would equal a 67% chance to win, then I would probably call it even more than that, right? But that we all know that's not the case. So this is, it's a proven fact that if we can be a +1 or +2 or +3 ratio in the turnover stat, we greatly increase our chances to win. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to constantly reinforce that, and that's part of our defensive culture, is to get the ball out.
So what do you want to? What do you?
Sorry, going to the secondary coach, a couple of defensive backs had some strong days in the spring game. How do you kind of approach towing that fine line of being aggressive and jamming the guys at line of scrimmage and maybe giving some space when there's some speedy guys?
We probably really don't walk the fine line. We want to be extremely aggressive and confrontational. We want to play press coverage. We want to operate out of man match quarters. Our ripless match system in cover 3, and then complement that as well with some zone. So, and try to do our best to mix up things, offer disguises, and then pressure off those looks as well. So, we want to be really aggressive. That's the system I come from and I believe in, Coach Lanning as well. And we really want to be the dictator at the end of the day. So we're gonna constantly try to challenge our players to embrace that, and really function with the rush and coverage working together.
What do you want as far as what's next for you the next few months, and what do you want to see from your players during this time?
That's a cool looking hat, man.
Thank you.
It reminds me of one of our blitzes. Sorry, what'd you say?
What does the post spring look like for you, and what do you want to see from your players?
Yeah, we really want to focus, target an individual development piece to each guy. So I think over my career, when we try to challenge the guys, we all could, myself included, could get better at a lot of things. So if you pick out 7 of them, sometimes you kind of become a jack of all trades and a master of none. We're really not trying to do that. So we're going to really target, one thing. So every single player is going to come into every coach, and we're going to have, just one thing and start it there. That might be how somebody finishes. That might be my eye control and discipline within man coverage as a defensive back. That might be, the timing of my pressures as an inside backer. There's various things we can focus on, and then give a plan of action of how I can improve that. Once that starts to get improved, now we can go on to the next thing.
You've gone through the off-season part of the recruiting at the calendar at this time of year, but the satellite camp element exploded after when you moved on to the NFL. Mm-hmm. What's going to be your sales pitch on the recruiting trail here, and then what are you looking to identify in those camps that you guys will be going to?
Yeah, as far as a sales pitch, that's one of the main reasons I'm here. There's not, you don't have to be a a car salesman to represent this place and understand how special it is. So you're at a place where you can consistently compete for a national title. You're at least in position that you possibly can. You're at a place where you're going to consistently coach top 10 picks, and you're at a place that's arguably connected better than any other program in the world when it comes to the relationships, the Nike relationships, the alumni association that's part of this place. So I think the place more so sells itself. As far as the camps, I've been in the National Football League for the last 3 years, and I'm going to have to be guided on as far as the camps and where we're going. But we'll probably end up where some of the best prospects are.
Back to Trevor, I was just going to ask, what is his ceiling as a player? He's a player that's gained a lot of weight since he's gotten here and transformed his body, played different positions, and what does he need to do to reach that?
Well, I think our system really benefits if you look at the history of not just the Alabama blueprint, but even before that, University of Washington and back to Cal with Cameron Jordan and Tyson Alualu, and we really function and like a versatile but bigger, stronger defensive end type guy, outside backer guy. That's the history of what I've coached over the years. So Trevin has answered that well. He's fine-tuned his body, and I think he's more and more comfortable now, and he's really improved. I mean, I think the strength staff and the medical staff, chief, and all of them have done a great job too. Like his balance and body control has changed the direction. He's improved, and that's shown out on the field.
Josh, I'm curious. Last question with Justin Floyd. I know he's only been up and running for a little bit. What are your kind of initial thoughts working with him?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I know he is, and I am too. And we tried our best to slowly progress him, but there's not really that gear in his body. So we did a few walkthroughs, and they turned into full speed for him. So we had to slow him down. But I'd much rather be coaching a guy that you got to ask him to slow down rather than have to constantly encourage him to speed up.
All right, thank you.
All right, now.